Welcome, everyone. It's Not in All in episode 25, where myself, Kirk Buchner, Chris Mouradian, and Longhorn Dave Whitlock, we look at just whatever topics that we really want to discuss. But before we get into that, or you can pause this actually if you want to do that. Maybe you can do both. Maybe you can multitask because we're going to ask you to go to www.theusahof.com and you can help us decide who is the greatest athletes of the United States. We've already done 2 classes. Class 3, the vote is up right now. You're voting on athletes, coaches, contributors, consisting of 17 different sports. And again, www.theusahof.com. For the people, by the people, and your vote really counts. There's not going to be some mystery person changing something behind the scenes. I know I'm the mystery person behind the scenes, and I tell you everything.
You tell us too much, Kirk, sometimes.
There's the amazing things you don't even know. My God. Ask me one day about the midget and the pool table, but that's another story for another day. But before we go into that, and actually it's a great segue, we have, or you have, Dave, the Sportsman of the Week, and it shouldn't surprise anybody.
Yeah, no, this week went with Shohei Ohtani. Sometimes I go with big players in big situations. You know, the Springer home run was after the previous week, but certainly Shohei Ohtani with that Game 5 performance when he struck out all the batters, hit the 3 home runs, all the 3 home runs in a game by a hitter by itself is an exclusive club. And if you pitched that day and won, just amazing. It's actually his 3rd recognition for Sportsman of the Week, which ties a record held by many, and it'll take a lot to get him a 4th. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's the first one to get it 4 times, because he's just done it. It's been the last 2-3 years. He's done something totally crazy, and should be recognized for it. So Shohei Ohtani.
And where can people find that?
Absolutely. It's www.lhd-on-sports.com. And it's every week comes out, usually Monday or Tuesday, Sports Man or Woman of the Week. The week before it was a Sports Woman of the Week. Just depends on who starred that week, who had the big game, could just be a single moment, could be statistics over a week. We got the World Series coming up. We got football. We've got NASCAR, final 2 playoff races. There's a lot going on in the sports world. So stay tuned.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping Shohei doesn't get that 4th in the next little while, because selfishly, I'm a Blue Jays fan. And congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers for getting this far. One was not a surprise at the beginning of the year. I think a lot of people would have put money on the Dodgers to be here. The Dodgers put a lot of money on themselves to be here, and it's paid off. Coincidentally, or maybe not so coincidentally, I remember being in a bar in Winnipeg. Big shock. There's a story with me that starts from me being at a bar. And the report was going on, and we were all talking about that. Oh my God, Shohei's on a plane, and they were tracking the plane going to Toronto. Well, maybe the plane was going to Toronto, but a certain Japanese star was not on it. So I don't know to this day how close he was to becoming a Blue Jay, if at all. But it didn't happen at the time when I saw the contract. I might have said that not on this show, because I don't think we were doing that yet. But like when I saw that contract, I'm thinking, well, maybe that's not such a bad thing we didn't get him. Well, I mean, now looks like they're going to win another World Series with him. Los Angeles is a big favorite going into this. When Toronto started the season, the odds on them, and I can't imagine we're going to be talking gambling a little bit later, but the odds on them winning the World Series was 6,000 to 1. I don't know if it's changed that much.
A little bit, probably.
Obviously a little bit, but Toronto should not be here. They're here. My predictions, Dave and I did a LCS show. I begrudgingly picked Toronto because I felt I had to. I got that one right. I was way off in Milwaukee. I had them sort of figuring out a way to do this.
I warned you.
You were hoping.
I said they weren't going to win.
And I know how happy you are about that.
I am extremely.
But so now we have another team that is again playing with house money. Toronto should not be here, but Toronto is not as young as Milwaukee. They are Are they a team of destiny? Don't know. They do have home field. Not that that's going to matter to the Dodgers, I don't think. The way I'm looking at this, the only advantage Toronto has, and maybe the two of you have some insight that I don't, is I like their lineup 7-9 better in the lineup, better than LA. Beyond that, I can't think of one thing that they have other than home field. And like everything has to go perfect. The Savage is going to get game one. Everything has to go their way. Everything. Am I wrong here, or am I not or am I being all doom and gloom because sometimes I get that way on the teams I love?
Yeah,
I don't think you're. Oh, go ahead, Dave. You're going.
I'll start. So I'm going to provide some good counterpoints. I think going into it, I've been going the Dodgers every round. We've done a round of playoff predictions. We did the Dodgers. We didn't do one for the Phillies series. That one was, to me, the most toe-to-toe from a talent perspective. You have two teams that have been in the World Series in the last few years, two teams with superstar players, pitching rotations, and back-end bullpens that were good. And then the Blue Jays kind of come into the picture. And so as I was doing just in my head the tail of the tape, I was thinking, it's probably going to be the Dodgers in 5, maybe 6. But then something in my head flipped. So I think the Blue Jays are going to give them a fight. Now, look at both teams. Both teams have won, 4 of the last 5 games, if you look at it. So both teams are just equally as hot. The Blue Jays kind of turned it around after those first 2 games at home that they just had the Mariners steal their lunch money. And I think the Mariners are just as balanced of a team as the Dodgers in terms of hitting and pitching. I think the Mariners lineup is, maybe not quite as top heavy, but
you mean
a little bit better in the back end. I think the Blue Jays' Achilles heel is, bullpen, especially in the middle. They always like to bring in, I can't remember the guy's name, starts with a V. And the Varland. It's like he's always first guy out. Maybe the 4th inning, maybe the 6th inning. They just kind of roll guys out, almost like a college strategy where you just start with your best relievers and go the other way. Whereas the Dodgers are maybe a little more structured, maybe not. Their bullpen hasn't been tested. There's some extra inning games, but they've got some guys that can go long relief. Certainly won't be Kershaw. It'll be somebody like Sasaki, who was also Sportsman of the Week once, and guys like that. So the path to victory for the Blue Jays is they've got to bust the Dodgers pitching because the starters have a 1.1 ERA. The bullpen has a 1.1 ERA. They're just not giving up runs. So obviously you can't win if you don't score runs. But I think they're going to figure out a way to do it at home. They'll get that crowd into it. They'll at least get a split at home, if not take the first 2, put the pressure on the Dodgers. Dodgers haven't been behind the 8 ball. They've just been kind of coasting along, essentially getting ahead in every series, beating great teams. But I think the Blue Jays, I'm going to go in 7. I can't imagine them winning in 6, but you get that series back to Toronto, just like we saw with the Mariners, and that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to win on the road. By then, the bullpens will be beat up. The Blue Jays lineup just seems clutch. If it's Guerrero one day, it's Kirk the next day, it's Springer the next day. They've got that mojo, like you said. So I'm going to pull a rabbit out of a hat and say Blue Jays have never lost a World Series in their whole franchise history. So why are they going to lose one now? Blue Jays in 7.
Okay. Chris.
Yeah, just some real kind of high level type things here. The Dodgers with, their last, including the World Series here, both times they've come in with a little bit extra rest. So you got the pitcher's arms have an extra day or 2 to kind of recover. As you mentioned, they really haven't been tested much. They walked through Milwaukee pretty easily, which again allowed them to kind of take it easy on having to run a lot of pitchers' arms out there and wear them down a little bit. So I kind of got a little bit of a different take on this one here. Actually, I got 2 takes. I think the Dodgers are just the more talented team, and I think that's just going to come through at the end. I think it's going to be 5 games as opposed to the 7 that Dave thinks it could be. But if you're one of these people that is kind of upset with the baseball financial system, where the big spenders get rewarded with it, I think you want to see the Dodgers go out and just win easily, win in 4, just to kind of keep that narrative going and kind of build onto it, so that eventually maybe baseball does finally get around to some kind of like other sports have like a good hard salary cap where, one team can't just go out and spend twice the payroll of another team and kind of corner the market on the top talent there. So kind of two ways to look at it. I think the Dodgers are the better team, but I think if you really want to get baseball to kind of fix its house there, you want to see the Dodgers win handily there, just because to get that conversation continued.
Well, it's not like baseball didn't try. There was is the luxury tax, but I wonder.
Clearly, they don't care because they're continuing to spend.
Well, someone will have,
and they can afford it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we'll have to explain it like I'm five. How Ohtani's deferred salary even affects that, or does it?
It wouldn't until those years when they're paying it.
That will count towards the luxury.
My understanding, yeah. So my understanding would basically it'd be part of the salary that year. So kind of banking on the cap or luxury tax in baseball's case continuing to go up, easier to absorb 10 years down the road or whenever it is.
I think the only way we see this ending is if one of these super teams bankrupt themselves when they keep this reverse Ponzi scheme at some point. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things I think, and we're all old enough to remember in the 80s when these ball players started getting $1 million contracts, which
$1 million.
and probably we all remember maybe our dads saying like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And now look at it. I mean, $1 million's a minimum. And then sometimes you still get into debt. Which brings me to my next point. Although before I go there, I just was I was watching a bit of hockey and I noticed that tonight Carolina's playing Colorado and they're both wearing retro uniforms. Nordiques jerseys at the Whalers jerseys. And I'm imagining Don Cherry at home watching this. And as far as I know, he's still got all his mental faculties, but he did retire from pretty much doing anything. So I'm hoping that he's okay. But if he's not, I'm just picturing him just sort of like, why the hell are all these Swedes here with the visors? What the hell happened?
Kirk, what was your prediction on the World Series? Did you give us a?
Oh no, well,
I thought he said Blue Jays, but I don't know. He actually
I didn't actually give one. So no.
Okay,
that is true.
I got to document this.
My mind says Dodgers in 5. My heart says Jays in 7. I know that's sort of. Hey, now I can say I'm right both ways, but I'm.
Final answer, Kirk. Give us an answer.
Dodgers. I hope I'm wrong. I just don't see how. I mean, everything has to come out right. It's like the puncher's chance, and Toronto's going to have to like punch him in the face in game 1.
I'm thinking like 1990 Reds. Like that A's team was stacked, and everybody just thought they'd just roll right over the Reds, and they came out and just with a bullpen and some clutch hitting by people like Billy Hatcher. Chris Sabo, they were able to pull it out.
Yeah, and that's sort of where it's going to have to happen. It's going to have. It's going to be
somebody
star that's sort of going to do that. Bo Bichette might be back in the lineup. I don't know. That's going to be huge if that happens. But if they can't win game 1, even if they split that series, Toronto has to like come out swinging. This will be the first time they've ever played Savage. And he's got to like repeat that magic. And John Schneider's just going to have to like maybe let the starters go maybe one more inning.
Yeah, you got to stretch him a little bit.
They have to, because as you said before, Varland isn't the answer. Like I know when I saw Jeff Hoffman come up, it's like, forget it. And then he strikes out the side. Like, what the hell? Where's this guy been all year?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm begrudgingly saying the Dodgers are going to win this in 5. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope Dave's right.
We'll see. I wanted you to go that way, so I'd be the one that could say I told you so next week.
Not that we're the type of guys to say I told you so. No.
Never said it before in my life.
No. I've never said it to my wife ever. And vice versa.
Right.
He's never said it to me. Does she never go? Usually it's like, you should listen to me. Anyway, horrible impression of her. Honey, if you're ever watching this, I love you. But Moving on. I was sort of gambling with something on that one. Whoa.
Let's get into
Yeah,
it.
here. My God, are there some prop bets?
Yeah, micro bets.
My God.
I'll take the under on number of minutes Terry Rozier plays in the game.
Well, I liked how his last box score was nothing. He didn't coach's decision.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it.
Mm.
The only one happy in basketball right now is Kawhi Leonard. I can't think of anyone who is thinking this is great news, because certainly there's a lot less eyes on him. We all remember Jonte Porter and the issue that happened last year. I didn't know this until today. Apparently, he was actually got into gambling trouble. So he was doing all this to pay off some other debts because he just got in with the wrong people. And so you have to wonder if Terry Rozier is in the same thing. And as I think, Chris, I don't know if you said this before Dave got on, but here we have this wide sweeping thing so big that we've got Kash Patel. He was staring at the camera, one eye anyway. The other eye, I don't know where it was going, but no.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
We've all seen it.
I can't do that impression. I was
Yeah,
trying.
it's kind of hard to do that one.
It is. But either way, this is massive, involving two players, one active head coach. No, well, I'm including Jonte in this. Sorry. So one player, one active head coach, a former player, and indirectly LeBron James, who, as far as we know, and I believe that I'm sure he had nothing to do with it. There's no way he's going to risk his reputation on this shit. Absolutely.
One would hope so.
No, no. I mean, there's just no way. But what for those who haven't heard, long story short, they have been there. This is just not betting on sports as much as it is tied with illegal poker games, tied with the mob, like the mob, the Italian mob, the mob that you always sort of hear of. La Cosa Nostra, as I believe they said that. Man, I'm very white. I'm a mangia cake, as my Italian friends always used to call me. But here we are. Terry Rozier he was looked at last year, and to believe that he was throwing games, or not throwing games so much as he was throwing his over under. Chauncey Billups, who just got into the Basketball Hall of Fame last year. Good thing for him, because I would imagine, I don't know if this would have disqualified him, because again, we don't know the parameters or who the chooser is. Hell, we don't even know if they might even kick him out.
Hey, we'd love to talk to you about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You should come here, because like we've had now 3 Pro Football Hall of Fame selectors. They're not afraid. What are you afraid of? No, didn't work.
We'll wait and see if I get a call back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll be holding our breath on that one.
Yeah.
But Billups, his thing seems to be more, and again, we just heard this morning, because Billups coached last night.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's going off on a 1-game losing streak. And his seems to be more with illegal poker. That one actually sounds a little, even in some ways, a little worse, because people were paying, hey, you can play with a former NBA star, but then the whole game was rigged with what was it, like contacts, so they could actually see the cards,
X-ray tables, or
I don't
something.
even know how that works.
I heard stacked decks. I mean,
yeah, the sorter, you could what the hell they call that? Yeah,
the shuffle machine or whatever.
The shuffler. But when you I can't think of the word for you break into it or whatever.
The shoe, isn't it? The shoe, or
the shoe's where you take the cards out of. The shuffler's something different. But no, when you break into something, and it's the computer technical term. But
okay, well, right now everyone who plays a lot of poker would like to play with the 3 of us, since based on our knowledge.
Clearly,
yeah. And the other one, what was his name? Damon Jones?
Damon Jones, yeah.
I forgot all about him. So he's a friend of LeBron, played with him in the Cavs, and basically he didn't even have a paid position with the Lakers. He was basically part of the entourage. He got to hang out. which is the other thing. Is like, I didn't know you could, well, I guess I did know. I've talked to some people in baseball who were that, but I thought he sort of knew what LeBron's entourage sort of was, but Damon was there, part of it, and he fed information about that LeBron wouldn't be playing 2 hours before that got out, among other things. So clearly a whole lot more is going to come out. Gambling has always been a problem. If we were doing a podcast in 1920, I don't know how we would have, but we would be talking about gambling in sports. Here we are 105 years later. It's no better. I don't know if I could argue that it's worse, but it's just a lot easier, if that makes any sense. Because now you can impact a game. Like you could sort of like go to a player, like just maybe miss one shot or two, and then they think, well, I'm not going to really affect the game line too much. Or maybe they still are, because I mean, anyone who doesn't want to play and take themselves out is certainly nobody I'd want on my team. And that's sort of like why I'm convinced LeBron's probably massively pissed. One thing LeBron does not want to do is lose.
Yep.
Capacity. Is this fixable? Is this the tip of the iceberg, or is this the end?
Well, I think the early FanDuel odds on this being fixable was 1,001. So
Yeah.
The official gambling partner of the NBA.
Yeah. Hey, Kirk, do you have a sports gambling partner for this blog? If not, you need one.
I used to have one.
Yeah.
So I got to sort of like do that. And again, I'm not against gambling. I don't do it because I'm terrible at it.
Right.
I used to, but it's not like I did particularly well. And at the end of the day, there's a reason why the house usually wins. And I know I have an addictive personality. So I just went cold turkey. I said, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to get in over my head, because I know that I'm the type of person who could. I stopped gaming completely because I just love to play. And then I'm not making any money doing this. I'm not furthering relationships. I threw out my Nintendo and I haven't looked back. That was 23 years ago.
Man, I still got my old Atari 2600.
I adored my 60, my
Donkey Kong.
But yeah, so like I'm not against anyone gambling. I'm not even against players gambling as long as it's not their own sport. But clearly this has been a problem, especially for people who are very young, very dumb in many cases, and just have been pampered a whole lot of their life. I don't know if maybe with the NIL thing, this could sort of help in a way. I imagine because Chauncey Porter wouldn't have gotten any NIL money, I don't think, when he came out. I could be wrong on that, but either way, he probably didn't make that much. Terry Rozier is a different story, though. He was making some decent cash for a long time. He's not that young. He's in his early 30s, I believe. Someone wants to sort of look that up. I don't know if he got in over his head, but we see this all the time, especially with younger players who might come from an impoverished background, who almost feel like they've got to take care of the people who were with them before. And in some cases, like LeBron, and I'll use him as a great example, he chose his friends perfectly. If you don't hear about the same friends who were part of his crew then are part of his crew now, same wife, everything. He picked his friends very, very well. And a lot of these people don't. And it's hard, especially when you think someone's got your best interest and they don't. I don't know if that's what happened to Terry. Either way, he clearly made some very poor decisions. And looks like he's going to be out of basketball for good, and he should be. And he's got bigger problems. His biggest problem is not being out of the basketball.
Yeah, it's being out of jail.
Yeah.
31 turning 32 in early next year. So no, and this is I saw earlier today that both Rozier and Billups were placed on administrative leave by the NBA, which is a formality.
Golf clap.
Yeah. But yeah, their punishment from the NBA would be nothing compared to what potentially could be coming from the U.S. government here.
Yeah, and I don't think it's an. I mean, it's not to me. It's not an NBA problem. I mean, it's a perception issue,
Mhm.
but this the poker part of it seems to be a bigger deal than the basketball part. Maybe I'm not. I'm just reading through the facts, but uh, you said 31, 32. That's the number of people that have been arrested across 11 different states.
Mhm.
All kinds of things. Guns involved, robbery, underground games, things like that. Then you've got, to me, you've got it's so easy to do, especially for the I'll call the fringe player. NBA players, you think, oh, they made a lot of money. Well, their career was probably short. They probably had a lot of expenses associated with either upgrading their lifestyle or trainers or dietitians or things like that. That then you're done. You're washed up at 30, 31. You've got 50 years to figure out what you're going to do with the rest, and maybe you go into broadcasting, maybe you go into
Okay.
some sort of sports management. But the entry is so easy to do. I think they don't think of the consequence. I hope now that people will start thinking about these things. I mean, 2 weeks ago we were debating about a Major League Baseball relief pitcher that's never going to play again
Mhm.
for similar things. Throwing a pitch here, having an inning there, and so unfortunately, I feel like this is going to be a good thing in terms of starting to clean it up. But I think it's the tip of the iceberg. It's kind of like the PED scandal in baseball. Until something's really done about it, it's just going to keep rolling. It's too easy for every one of these. Are there 100 going on that aren't being caught? In terms of smaller individuals. Hey, if I'm a backup college basketball player and I just got a friend that needs to make his rent, I can miss a shot. Nobody will ever know. This is clearly much more global. We talk about LeBron James injuries, things like that. That certainly will start to get attention. You can go back to sports books records, who was betting at what time, start to see trends. The mafia's involved. I was thinking like, what a world we live in. We're back to the 20s mafia, and completely different subject. The Louvre was robbed of royal jewels last week. We need James Bond or somebody to come back and save us from the 1920s.
Incidentally, where were you 2 days ago, Dave?
Yeah, we're breaking up. Sorry, I went to drop off.
So this is from a post from Andrew Brandt, who's kind of obviously follows a lot of this stuff, financial side, but career earnings: Chauncey Billups 106 million, Terry Rozier 160 million. So neither one of these players was should have been hurting for money
Yeah.
where they would need to take on the risk of something like this. But
Chauncey still got NBA money coming in right now as a head
yeah,
coach.
both of them did. You know,
So,
so I mean, for the NBA, obviously, you think back to the scandal with the referee, blanking at his name before, but I didn't remember the shuffler. That's the word I couldn't think of before.
Yeah, hack the shuffler.
Yeah, so you had a gambling scandal with the referee before. You had the player last year. Now you got this. I mean, then it starts to kind of weigh on the brand of the NBA, that you have all these scandals that kind of pop up around the same issue, the gambling in some way or shape or form. Um, Baseball was like Dave mentioned there, the PEDs. I mean, that hung over the league for many years. I think it still kind of hangs over the league in a lot of cases. NFL is concussions, with the league not taking that seriously. So the leagues tend to kind of be able to outrun these, but you know, eventually one of these leagues is going to get hit with one of these scandals where it really sticks, and really the stink doesn't come off as quickly as some of these other ones have. And I think that's the biggest risk for any of these leagues right now, and why they need to be as proactive on these issues, trying to get ahead of it as they can, and cooperating, and trying to get, even if it's a name player. Terry Rozier is obviously somebody that we've heard of. He's not a all-star or anything like that, but if you have potential for an all-star that could bring your league down, you got to protect that shield before you protect that player.
And yeah, to your point, then you get the FBI involved. There's going to be tons of court hearings. If somebody knew something about it, even right now, there's a court case with might have been at the time Anaheim Angels, Los Angeles Angels, but the Skaggs drug situation, and even Trout was testifying, who knew what and when, who was seeing what. If it gets to the bottom of this and people, league brass knew what was going on and tried to look the other way, there could be, this could roll into, league accountability and certain people being that, and that's no reason to think it would go that way. It seems to be isolated, seems to be a couple of places, but you never know. You start peeling the layers of the onion, and you start finding out things that you don't want to find out, and that's why you should operate a league with integrity. Punish those that deserve it. Don't look the other way, because it's probably going to come bite you, just like the PEDs did with baseball, and then in a later extent the sign stealing scandals and things like that. Way back when, the gambling, they finally cleaned it up when they got a commissioner after the 1919 scandal. So you just have to figure out a way to do it. And so I think the NBA is at risk so far. I don't think they're probably going to end up in trouble, but we'll see. It's day one of what's going to be years of investigations, subpoenas, data becoming available, raids on certain things.
Even when we go back to Chauncey, so we talked about how Jonte at his age could sort of make that decision. Chauncey's what, 50 something?
He's about my age. We used to play against him in Colorado. Colorado, Texas used to play when I was in college. So,
right, so 50s. Clearly he's someone who knows better at this point. But I guess there's still that element of adventure that sort of comes with it. I mean, if you want to, you can play high stakes poker legally anywhere almost in this country.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to do, but I guess, well, if the mob's involved, it's a lot more fun because there's the element of risk and there's a certain rush to it. I mean, I get that to a point, but here's the cost. And every time we watch an NBA game, this was before, and like back to the Tim Donaghy scandal. I mean, there have been like YouTube videos I've watched over and over about how the Kings got jobbed against the Lakers in 2002.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially like, I'd like to think I'm pretty well known. Well, not well known, well versed in watching in my sports knowledge. But I don't know about you guys, but every time I watch a basketball game, there's always at least 3 times like, come on, that's not a foul. Or what the hell is that?
They're either evening it up or something. Yeah, they walk down the court, nothing happens, and they just blow the whistle, and second team foul, move on, or 2 free throws for somebody that seemingly was not involved in the game.
Right, and both the NBA and the WNBA have their issues with the refs. Now they're going to have issues with any dogged play.
Yeah.
All right, well, was he on the take? Any bad decision by a coach? Because we don't even know if Billups was doing anything coaching-wise. What if that comes to light?
Right.
That's very possible. Everything's on the table at this point. Everything.
I mean, a little bit of the Pete Rose thing. I mean, people say, oh, maybe forgive him that. But, I mean, he was the manager of the team. He was betting on his own team. He had knowledge of which players may play that day, which players may not play that day, which ones had a good practice yesterday, all kinds of things that that's why they have the rule, the golden rule. And I saw a funny joke. It was like, sports is ruining gambling or something like that. Or sports is ruining gambling. It's like, we used to be a civilized society. You could just go lose your money at blackjack and go home and have a good time in Vegas. And now you don't know who's on the up and up.
One of the things I heard with this is that because of the opening up of gambling, making it legal in more places, it's been easier to track and to uncover scandals like this. So, in a weird way, the corruption of gambling maybe is easier to find because of the legality of it.
There's AI out there that can scan millions and trillions of lines of data, to notice trends, and I'm sure there's a master database somewhere that is accountable. Well, besides a lot of this may have been off betting, not walking into MGM and putting money on a game, but anyway, yeah, and technology may catch up with it. It's a good point, Chris.
Rozier, I think, was how they sort of like caught that.
Yeah.
because it was part of the whole. And to the credit of these gambling companies, they are being transparent. They're not hiding anything. I think actually
They have to be. Yeah.
shut this down. Of course, at the same time, maybe because hey, if this is happening, then they're trying to protect their own interest.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure they're
99.9% reason.
yeah,
I'm sure they're making a lot of money that they don't want to see that end here.
Yeah, they've got to figure out a way to keep their nose clean.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Adam Silver is going to be tested huge this year, more than anything else. He got out of the gate better than any commissioner with the way he handled the Sterling situation. Well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
it's a low bar, but I've always considered him the most popular commissioner. He's not the only one that they practically throw stuff at when he goes on stage for a draft or public appearance. The other three major sports, I mean, Manfred and it's like they step in front of the microphone. It's like everybody boos for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Bettman at any draft. I mean, even when he's announcing something good for your team, he's still getting booed.
That's right.
He's actually not bad, all things considered. But again, I'm comparing that to a very low bar.
Yeah, right, tallest midget.
Second midget reference today. Any more?
Well, we just sort of like lost our endorsement with the Short People Association. Yeah. So
I have another one I could have used, but I think it probably would have been even worse. So
this is a sort of like holding back, which is great. Yeah. I love it. But yeah, so Adam Silver, and sometimes you're just gonna have to go scorched earth because that is the only way you can get your integrity back, because there's a lot of players doing a lot of things right now or have been who are scared out of their mind. And you got to clean this up. You have to. Basketball is a great sport. We love it. This country loves it. The world loves it. Basketball is on the rise globally. Maybe not in the States as much as it has been, but it's a true global game, and we want to keep it that way. But the only way to do that is sometimes you just gotta cut some junk out, and that's what it looks like it's going to happen. They have to.
Yep.
Because if they don't, the FBI will do it for them. Pablo Torre will do it for you. Jams will find out something.
Yeah.
All right. Any other last thoughts?
Yeah, I just got one more thing I wanted to bring up tonight.
Oh,
yeah. So last week we had the passing of Duke Roufus, who was a former kickboxer and trainer here in the Milwaukee area. Owned a gym called Roufus Sport, and unexpectedly passed it at only 55 years old. Trained quite a few champions in MMA, the Pettis brothers, Paul Felder, Tyron Woodley. So it's something that isn't the biggest sport in the world, but around here the Roufus name carried a lot of weight. My son, that's where he trained over at Roufus Sport, so he actually had some of his classes was Duke was his trainer there. So kind of a little bit of a touch here personally with it, but just wanted to offer up our condolences to the Roufus family, and eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord, and the perpetual light shine upon him. May he rest in peace.
Well said.
Absolutely.
We'll dedicate today's show in his honor. All right. Well, with that, we again encourage you to go to www.theusahof.com. Vote on who you think should be a part of the third U.S. Athletic Hall of Fame class.
Jimmy Fox.
Jimmy Fox is on that ballot. You can vote for Jimmy Fox. 2 X's.
I-E, J-I-M-M-I-E. Yeah.
M-O-U-S-E. So you can vote for him. You could even vote for Bud Selig. You could.
I would argue that there's better candidates out there, but if Bud's your jam, go for it.
I do have a little bit of insight, so I can say that a lot of people will agree with the panel here. I'll leave it at that. I can't say that Bud's doing particularly well, but
shocker.
You never know. Maybe an influx will sort of happen. That's the problem when there's an open vote. Actually, I wonder if you can gamble on this. I wonder if I could be bought.
Don't. Your integrities cost more than that.
Yeah, the whole thing.
I was
falls
just
apart.
I was just saying I wouldn't actually do it. Of course I would not. But wherever you are, wherever you may be, make today count because it never comes again. Take care, everybody.